Morning! Welcome to the Victor Wilt program today. Happy Monday to you. Happy pre-election day. Try to stay sane. Thankfully, doesn't seem like things are getting too unhinged yet. I think tomorrow will be the true chaos. But yeah, make sure to get out and vote and all that good stuff. Tomorrow, early voting in Idaho, anyhow, is currently over with. So you got to get out to the polls tomorrow, do that voting. If you're not registered, you can register at the polls. Just bring your ID as well as some type of proof of residency, utility bill, something like that. And then you can get your vote on tomorrow, and we can get this thing over with. And hopefully it all ends in a nice, tame manner, right? Have a feeling it won't. That's not the world we live in anymore. It's got to be a circus, but I've got hope. So, how was your weekend? Mine was good. It was productive. There's been so much on my plate that I needed to get done. Felt so good to wrap up some of these very tedious tasks. Now, today, my life, there's a huge pile of things that need to be completed, and I'm trying to avoid any anxiety over it, but so good so far. Just trying to go up in here. But I did get to also relax over the weekend a little bit. Kick back, watch some good movies and TV shows. What did I watch this weekend? Let's see how good my memory is. Half awake here. Let's see, watched A24's Civil War, which is a really good movie. Really enjoyed that one. I watched multiple movies. Why can't I think of the others that I watched this weekend? Oh, Longlegs. Watched Longlegs. That was pretty fun. I rented it for $6 on Prime. And, it's not the best horror movie I've seen all year, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. Nick Cage is Nick Cage in it, but in an unexpected role. I think that's the main reason that movie had the hype that it did, is because Nick Cage is... I can't spoil it at all for you, but a very unique role for Nick Cage in that movie. And it seems like I watched at least one other movie as well, but I don't know what it was. Watched a lot of X-Files, which you can't really go wrong watching lots of X-Files, so good stuff. And the new episode of It's Florida Man, which the first two I think were better, but it was still a good episode. If you haven't seen It's Florida Man on HBO, holy cow, the first two episodes are completely unhinged. And the third episode was, again, good. But it's hard to follow up those first two. Anyhow, there you go. Entertainment recommendations. If I remember whatever other movie I watched, because I'm almost positive I watched at least one other movie this weekend. I just have no idea what it was. So, anyway. And again, it was productive, so I feel good about the laziness that I was able to get into the mix. I just heard about a handy item that I might need. Earlier, I was talking about my inability to fall asleep last night. I don't know. It's weird how a time change that gives you an extra hour can wonk things up like that. Could have been that I stayed up very late Friday and Saturday, I guess. But anyhow, this item, well, it's being developed, this gadget. I don't know, it's not done yet, but researchers at the University of Arizona developing this thing that uses magnetic pulses to quiet all those thoughts that keep you awake. Yeah, just zap your brain into a nice, quiet sleep mode. Yeah, they say it targets the brain's default mode network, which is responsible for internal chatter in 40 seconds, sends magnetic bursts to specific brain regions, silencing the noise and helping you get off to sleep quickly. No having to take any kind of meds or anything. Just bam, zap, sleepy time. I mean, the other solution is get yourself a recliner. That's what I've got. I did doze off watching, what was it, X-Files? Yeah, there's a problem with that recliner in my living room. If I have the blinds closed and it's dark in there, I kick back in that recliner, I'm out, especially if I've got the little kitten sleeping on me. It's nap time. So maybe that was part of the reason that, I didn't get to sleep last night. Got a nap in over the weekend as well while watching TV. Anyway, I'll let you know if they ever make this commercially available, but it sounds pretty nice. There are certainly some nights when my brain just will not shut up, and I'd go for the magnetic zap. Sure. Bad news for those of you who've got a bunch of beat up old cruddy $1 bills in your wallet. If your bank is Bank of America, apparently if your $1 bills are damaged, they're not going to take them anymore. Yeah, bills that are overly worn, torn, discolored, or damaged by excessive moisture, they don't want them. And the reason for this, I find kind of funny. They're worried about counterfeiting. Like someone's bringing in these cruddy bills and exchanging them for some, good bills. Yeah, they're hoping they can weed out counterfeit $1 bills. Okay. Is anybody out there counterfeiting $1 bills? I mean, if you're going to go through the trouble of attempting to counterfeit money, which you shouldn't do, that's a major, major criminal charge. Why not go with the hundreds, or 50s? Ones? $1 bills don't get you nothing. Yeah, what can you buy for $1 anymore? A handful of items at the dollar store. And even the dollar store, I think they've gone up to about $1.25, $1.25. So, yeah, good luck on your $1 bills there. I'm surprised $1 bills still even exist at all. Yeah, I guess you can thank, maybe strip clubs. That if we didn't have them, or tipping culture, I guess, that's probably the only reason we have these ones left. Well, as I mention often enough, I enjoy watching a good show. I enjoy kicking back, relaxing, especially after I've accomplished a bunch of things so I don't feel guilty. Like, oh, my house is clean. Yeah, dude, you can kick back and relax. Good job. But I run out of shows to watch. I've watched a lot of TV in my day. So threads like this might be helpful. What is a TV show that has ended but holds up to this day? I mean, if you're looking at shows from back in the day, sometimes it's tough to find shows that do stand the test of time. Now, if you want one that's, at this point, pretty old, just did a rewatch of The Sopranos a while back. It might even be better now. I don't know. The recent watch through that I did totally blew my mind. And I loved that show when it aired on TV, but it was just so good to binge watch. Compared to back in the day, you had to watch one episode a week, or pick up the VHS seasons. Highly recommend that one. But what does the internet recommend? Do you count something like Breaking Bad that's, it's been off the air for 10 years or so, but maybe even longer. It's not that old, though. I don't know. Somebody in here mentioned Malcolm in the Middle, which it's such a great show. Speaking of Bryan Cranston, he's just so funny in it. So funny. Could have never imagined he'd be Walter White. But it's a fun one to watch with your kids if you've got younger ones. It's a show that I really do think adults and kids can both enjoy. Really fun show. That's a good answer here. The Batman cartoon from the 90s. There's no reason for it to hit that hard, but it did. All-time classic. I'm sure I watched it if it was a Batman cartoon in the 90s. But I don't know. It's not standing out in my head for some reason. Band of Brothers. That's one I've been wanting to rewatch again. I haven't seen that since I was probably a teenager. Kind of universally known as one of the best shows of all time. All right, they mentioned MASH in here. They said some of the jokes would not fly in 2024, but the emphasis on the human element of war is timeless. All right. I remember my dad, I think it was my dad, he liked watching MASH. I never got into it, though. Maybe it's because it was one of my dad's shows. You know, when your dad's into something, you know, it doesn't seem very cool when you're pretty young. Thankfully, my kids, as they've gotten older, discover that I have really good taste when I recommend things for them to watch. Star Trek: The Next Generation, I have friends who really enjoyed that, but that's one I never really watched. Still stands the test of time? All right. You know, I've been watching The X-Files. I think that, you know, it does have a very 90s feel, but I think it stands up for sure. It's been really fun. All right, The Wire, that's an old show, and that's great. Watched that for the first time, I don't know, about a year or so ago, year or two. Excellent. Mad Men's another one I didn't finish. The Twilight Zone. That could be a fun one to go back and watch. I liked that when I was a kid. All right, I'm making a decent list here. Somebody did mention Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, but I think those are too new to, you know, go, yeah, they stand the test of time. Well, yeah, they're basically new shows. It's in the last decade. I don't think it should be on the list. But I do think they will stand the test of time, like, till the end of time. They're going to be up there with The Sopranos, universally known as one of the best shows of all time forever, just like The Wire. All right, I should quit talking about this because now I just want to go home, sit in my recliner, and watch TV. Only got a couple more chores I need to do around the house to really feel good about myself. Wait a minute. My buttons are not cooperating with me today. Hey, what's up? It's the Victor Wild Show. BusinessInsider.com, or I guess .in, posted an article that I think is irresponsible because it's going to give people bad ideas. It's an article about shoplifting, and they interviewed this guy named Carson. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but they talk about his shoplifting habits that he's been unable to kick since he was a teenager. And yeah, he's fine. He doesn't, like, need to shoplift. He has a good job, lives in New York City, but he just shoplifts like crazy. They, talk about how a few weeks ago he's like, well, I need to get a snooze in on an international flight. He's hanging out at the airport, so he shoplifts some Benadryl. Shoplifting at the airport is pretty brave. You know, if there's one place where there's a lot of security and cameras everywhere, that's going to be the airport. But this guy, yeah, he goes wild. He'll just go into, Target, walk out with chairs. He says his favorite place to steal from is Whole Foods. Says it's really impulsive. I'm just shopping with my own bags and slipping small, valuable things into my pocket. Yeah, he says he saves around $1,000 by shoplifting each year. Jeez, don't tell people this. Eventually, you're going to get caught, buddy. You're going to get caught. This guy bragging it up in the news about his shoplifting. I just think that's going to bring karma back on you. And this guy's going to get busted. And he's going to get busted shoplifting something stupid. And what if he's got a job that's like a really important job? We've seen stories over the years of like wealthy celebrities shoplifting. And you always make the news for that if there's, any reason that the public might have an interest in, rando person shoplifting. If it's just some teenager, no. But what if this guy is like the head of some kind of a major business or something? Anyway, don't shoplift, people. I know that groceries have gotten to be very expensive, but court costs are very expensive as well. And again, you're going to get caught, and retail losses lead to higher prices of everything. Shoplifters driving up the prices of all of our goods and services that are already stupid expensive. So, yeah, don't be Carson, all right? Don't be Carson. Hey, if you haven't checked out the newest episode of the Riverbend Awareness Project Podcast, you should do so. Bringing you great information each month on a topic of importance to our community. This month, they are discussing Alzheimer's disease. Early diagnosis, very important. knowing will help you plan for the future. They talk about the 10 specific signs of Alzheimer's, taking care of your brain health now, physically protecting your brain with safety gear when needed, and keeping your brain active by consistently learning new things and staying socially active. The more information you can get on these health topics, the better. Alzheimer's, not an inevitable part of getting older. It's a disease just like heart disease or diabetes. So if you want to, expand your knowledge and learn some important things about Alzheimer's, you can find the Riverbend Awareness Project Podcast everywhere that podcasts can be found. And don't forget, you can also find The Victor Wilt Show everywhere that podcasts can be found. So if you miss the beginning of my show or the end of my show, you can get it all in one nice, compact, file. I don't know what word I'm looking for here. But yeah, no music or anything, just me yapping for about an hour each day. So check out all of our podcasts. You can get more information at riverbendmediagroup.com. Owner of South Shore Spas. Is this Florida? Oh, Boston area. All right. Anyway, accused of injecting clients with counterfeit botox. Ugh. That don't sound good. There have been some horror stories about Botox gone wrong when people get that counterfeit Botox, injected into their face. You don't want your face to melt off. Yikes. And I mean, this was at a spa. Like, it wasn't like somebody showed up to somebody's house and was like, hey, let's go in the garage here and Botox up. Man, that's pretty scary. Going to a place with a registered, how do you say that? Esthetician? But she's not licensed to administer Botox or certified to do so. Somebody could just tell you, yeah, I'm good to go. Hey, we got the best prices in town. Next thing you know, face rotting off. I don't know. I guess make sure to check those credentials really good. Yikes. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, I'm hoping to make a trip to Arizona soon. Though I don't know if I'd go have seafood or oysters at the haunted Tempe restaurant. Seafood's fine, but I don't know. Oysters, I've never had them. I might have had some fried ones, but fresh oysters at the haunted restaurant, Casey Moore's Oyster House, ugh. That just doesn't sound very pleasant to me. Especially if you got to put up with a bunch of crap from ghosts and things you're trying to eat. You got this thing that resembles ectoplasm in your hands, mowing it down. Ugh. Now I don't know. Anyway, I like seafood, but oysters plus haunted. I ain't worried about the haunted end either. I'm not the type who really believes in ghosts because I haven't seen one. Everything's possible, but until I have myself a nice quality experience, not buying it. Oysters, much scarier to me than ghosts. Chilling. Oh, and I guess an update on the sad squirrel story from last week. You remember Peanut the squirrel? Well, you've probably heard about Peanut the squirrel now if you didn't hear me talk about it on the show. Peanut the squirrel was this squirrel that some guy in New York adopted and made into a TikTok star. He also had a raccoon. He had all these wild animals as pets. We talked about this Friday during traffic school. Having wild animals as pets, you got to contact your local city to see what the rules are. But in New York, you're not allowed to have squirrels. Bunch of online complainers raised a ruckus about the squirrels and or the squirrel and the raccoon. So the city, came in and raided the guy's house and took the squirrel. Well, now this has become a political issue. I tell you, the circus we're living in. Some of the images I saw on Facebook involving Peanut the squirrel over the weekend were pretty insane. Pretty funny stuff. So it just goes to show, Peach is, zero to political.
Justice for Peanut. That's all I got to say.
Justice for Peanut. That's what I was talking about.
I feel bad.
Everything goes political
I
nowadays.
feel bad for that one lady. Well, I don't really feel bad. She's the lady. There's a lady in Texas that supposedly called the city of New York to have the squirrel taken from the owners.
Yeah, we talked about it on Friday before it became a major political issue.
Well, since then, that lady has deleted all of her social media profiles. People everywhere on Twitter, Instagram are sharing her full name, where she's at, everything.
Oh, I'm
They're
sure.
sending her death threats.
I'm sure.
Rightfully so. I'm just kidding. Please don't do that to people.
No. These online attacks and doxing people. I mean, I thought it was pretty ridiculous that she... And I thought that it was multiple people had reported the squirrel to the authorities.
I'm sure it was. I have no idea if that's even true on Twitter. Of like they're pointing out some random lady named Monica, and like they have like her Facebook profile picture of her smiling on the post.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's some of the stuff I saw on social media over the weekend just had me rolling laughing. You know, the extremes to which people will take a story about a squirrel.
Twitter's off the rails now.
Dude,
like
I don't know what's
some of those texts, and I'm like, this looks like 2007 internet. It just looks awful.
It's very bizarre on Twitter right now, for sure. Every time I fire it up, it's like, what is this? It's so different than any of the other social media. It's just completely unhinged. So anyhow, if you don't want your pets taken away, make sure that they're legal to have. I don't know if you can have a squirrel as a pet here. We talked about it on traffic school, and I think Lieutenant Crane said you got to check your county or city. You probably need a permit, you know? And if you want a squirrel as a pet, all you got to do is put some like food out on your back porch. I got squirrels, you know?
My parents do. My dad pets one.
I haven't ever touched the squirrels in my yard, but they come up to the door, get a little snack.
I told you about Pierre, my family's squirrel that just goes in the backyard and sprawls out on the screen door whenever he wants, or whenever she wants peanuts.
Yeah, they
squirrels... found out she was a girl when she was sprawled out on the screen door.
That's not a boy. Yeah, my squirrels have stopped hanging out at the door since I started letting Lucy outside, because she has not made friends with them yet. She chases them, and they seem to, play, but I think they're worried she might attack them. Koopa's old and he doesn't care. He's like, whatever, they live in the yard.
Right.
But I was reading through a thread about disturbing books. One thing that I did over the weekend was a little bit of rearranging of my house. I was wanting to clean the house. And basically, all I needed to do was do the dishes, straighten up the kitchen, sweep and mop. All right? So I get started doing this. And for whatever reason, I start noticing like, oh, hey, this is my house. I can decorate however I want. I should get rid of a bunch of this crap that I don't need, old dishes and things like that. And I'm like, I could turn this, little hutch thing, part of it into a bookshelf, because I'm running out of space for books. This is an ongoing problem for me, running out of space for books. So then next thing I know, I'm just moving books all over the place, and I start rearranging this other hutch. I'm like, this is all boring. It looks like an old person thing. I'm going to decorate it with weird stuff. And so I did not ever get around to the sweeping and mopping or anything like that, but I did make a new bookshelf, and I filled it up with books that I want to read. It'll be my to-be-read shelf. And a few of the books I put on that shelf were from like Cormac McCarthy. One of these days I'm going to get around to reading The Road, which is supposed to be one of the most bothersome books that's ever been written. That's in the pile, along with some of his other books. As I started looking through this disturbing book thread, I was like, oh, maybe there's some more I should get. I don't know why I enjoy reading disturbing books. Like, I have talked about the book The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum many times on this show. It's a book I don't necessarily recommend. I think it's very powerful, extremely well written, but it's horrible. It's horrible, and you feel disgusted by the end of it. It's in this list of disturbing books. But then there are some that I'm like, oh, I don't have that, and I'm not familiar with it. Maybe I should get a copy. So, yeah, what if I sit down, I could give myself like just a month of torture reading disturbing books? Now, the title of this one's familiar, but I don't know anything about it. We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver. That is the most popular response on here. No clue what that's about, but I guess it's going on a list. I got to have all the disturbing books. Child of God by Cormac McCarthy, second highest voted, which that's in my pile of to be read. What else do we have here? Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. I might have a copy of that, or maybe I did at one point and was like, V.C. Andrews, I've never read any V.C. Andrews. I'll donate it to the thrift store. Lord of the Flies. Read that as a kid. I don't remember it being super disturbing. But I think it is one of the books that you have to get out of the adult section at the library now, so it must be pretty bad. American Psycho, the movie's disturbing. Haven't ever read the book. That's one that I never think to pick up a copy of, but I have wanted to read. Then we got The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum showing up here. The Long Walk by Stephen King. I would have never thought of that one as extremely disturbing. I think it's an excellent story. It's in the Bachman books. And they're supposed to be making a movie out of it, I believe, which that will be interesting to see because it's essentially a story about people walking. And that's, I mean, I don't know, maybe they can get into the psychological aspect of it and make it work as a movie. It's a very good read, but trying to make it into a movie seems strange to me. I don't know. I'll definitely check it out. All right, we got one called The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks. Never heard of that. Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. My apologies if I said that name wrong. Okay, Requiem for a Dream by Hubert Selby Jr. One of the most disturbing movies of all time. This is all I need. Another pile of books to add to my eBay shopping list. I shouldn't even read these threads, but I'm like, oh, disturbing? I just gotta have it. I've had a few people ask, so I figure every once in a while I'm going to throw this out there. Where is the concert calendar? Well, if you haven't checked out our new website, riverbendmediagroup.com, that may be why you have been unable to find the concert calendar. So if you go to riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar, you can bring up the new event calendar. It's really cool. You can sort it by event type. So let's say you want to check out local events, local events and festivities. You just set event type to, hold on, I'm trying to get to it here. Give me a minute here. I want to give you an accurate description of what you click. Well, there's a lot of different types of local events. Say you want to check out charity events or car shows. Under choose an event type, you just click whatever you're looking for. Festivals, food and drink, fundraisers. Or if you're like the average KBear listener, you're probably looking for rock and metal shows. What you want to do? Click concert/rock for event type, and you can bring up the details on all of the awesome shows that are coming up soon. Like tonight, you want to go see some shredding? You want to see some ridiculous guitar playing? Animals as Leaders is at the Knitting Factory in Boise tonight. It'll be awesome if you're into shredding, all right? If you're not a technical music nerd, I don't know, it may or may not be up your alley, but it'll be a good show. Or if you want to get your 80s on, you can go check out Wasp at the Depot in Salt Lake tonight. Some of the other upcoming shows, you got Animals as Leaders in Salt Lake tomorrow, Fit for an Autopsy at the Complex on the 8th, Rise Against is coming up at the Revolution Concert House in Boise on the 13th. King Diamond with Overkill at the Complex in Salt Lake on the 16th. The Devil Wears Prada on the 19th. Mac Sabbath, the McDonald's Black Sabbath tribute band. They're weird. They'd be fun. They're going to be in Salt Lake on the 19th as well. And that's just a small sample of the many, many killer shows coming up. So again, riverbendmediagroup.com/calendar. That's where you'll find our new event calendar, and it's bigger and better than ever before. So go give it a look, find something fun to do. Man, there is some weird stuff in the news these days. I mean, I guess it gives me content for the show, but I want to preface this by saying, I've talked about ghosts plenty of times on this show. I don't personally believe in ghosts because I haven't seen one. I'm not saying ghosts don't exist, because I don't know. I enjoy haunted places. I enjoy reading about ghosts. I enjoy watching documentaries about the supernatural. I just need some of them firsthand experiences if I'm going to go, yes, I believe. Well, Tucker Carlson believes. You might remember him. He was a Fox News host for many years. Got fired. Now I think he just does an online show. But he was in the news for apparently saying that he was mauled by a demon in his sleep, and it scratched him up real bad. Now, I've also talked about how years ago there was some rude girl who I think I was having a political discussion with, and, we had differing viewpoints, and she started saying, "You have a demon attached to you," which was, so insulting and rude. I'm a good person. An opinion about something like politics doesn't mean that you're evil, okay? Well, I guess it could if you have a really, really crazy extremist point of view. This is just basic political discussion. So anyway, I'm not saying Tucker Carlson wasn't mauled by a demon, but I don't know. I've woke up a few times when I'm all itchy. You ever get itchy in your sleep? And I don't know, what if you haven't cut your fingernails or something? You could scratch yourself up. Or does Tucker Carlson have a cat? Because I felt like I was mauled by a demon in my sleep, but it was just Koopa and he wanted outside. Anyway, I can't believe that's in the news, but I shouldn't be surprised anymore about anything in the news. As we talked about earlier, story about a squirrel turned into a political issue over the weekend. So nothing's going to surprise me in the news anymore. I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder. Yeah, we are living in bizarre times. But anyway, just wanted to let you know. I don't know what the suggestion on how to avoid this is, but it doesn't sound pleasant. Ugh. I'll stick with cat scratches. Sounds a lot easier to deal with. You just wake up and go, "No, stop that. Get." Put the cat outside the door. Glad I don't have any air travel in my future. There have been a ton of just unruly passenger stories as of late. Can people just settle down? Now, this guy is supposed to be an airline safety instructor, okay? Well, he got hammered and decided to get in a fight mid-flight, attack the crew. That is not good airline safety. Yeah, starting a fight at 30,000 feet. I would say that's the opposite of safe behavior inside of an airplane. There's video online if you want to see the guy get tackled to the ground. And why can't I think of the word I'm looking for here? They put those ties on his hands to handcuff him. You know what I'm talking about? Plastic ties? I guess that's what they're called. I don't know. Anyway, maybe this was a good example of airline safety. He was trying to show what you do when you have an unruly passenger. You need to hold him down and strap his hands and legs behind his back. So was it a successful demonstration? Kinda. All right, everybody at this point knows that the government's watching everything we do all the time, right? Like your email and Google searches and text messages and stuff. At least it seems that way, right? We'll go allegedly. Well, I guarantee that you can punch things into Google that will trigger some type of alert and could make the authorities show up at your home. Happened in Long Island, New York, just, a couple weeks ago? Oh, this was a while ago. Why is this in the news now? I don't know. I guess they were reminiscing about the time that they decided, well, we need to buy ourselves some items for around the house. This is a husband and wife, each of them searching for a couple different items on their own. The wife was looking for a new pressure cooker, and the husband was looking for a backpack. So, fairly close together, they searched for pressure cooker and backpack online, And then, yeah, had to have a nice discussion with the Suffolk County Police Department. I guess it was actually the IT staff at the guy's job that flagged the thing there. But I still think if you punch certain things into Google, you're asking for a bad time. So, yeah. Oh, I just got the hiccups all of a sudden. What's going on here? I guess that's worse than a sneeze. I was complaining about sneezing on air last week. I'll take sneezing over hiccups. Very unpleasant. Anyway, be careful what you search for, okay? Unless you like talking to cops. If you do enjoy talking to cops, just call traffic school Friday mornings at 8:45, powered by the Advocates. Then you can talk to the cops and not go to jail afterward. Well, next time you drive to Salt Lake, it might be a little bit weird. You always know you're getting close when you see those big grain towers at, Ogden. You know what I'm talking about, those big white towers? Well, they're gone now. Yeah, I guess they demolished them yesterday. So, yeah, that'll be just kind of strange. It's a very, very noticeable landmark as you're making your way to Salt Lake City. And I don't know. Yeah, I'd never thought about whether or not they were in use. They've just always been there, but they're gone. If you want to watch video of them being demolished, Google Ogden grain elevators, I guess, and you can check it out. It's always kind of fun watching implosions. Like, what was it? The Tropicana? They recently imploded a casino in Vegas. I don't remember which one. I want to say the Tropicana. But maybe I'm right. I don't know. Anyway, if you like watching videos of destruction, it's out there. And then, yeah, don't be confused next time you make your way to Utah and you're like, where am I? Did I go through a time warp? I didn't even see Ogden. Hey, could we just go ahead and leave the law up to the law? Got a story about a vigilante who he should have just stayed home. All right. This was in California, Stockton, California, to be precise. So you got cops who are chasing a guy on foot. And this guy, his, security camera alerted him to somebody running by outside. So he checks the camera, sees somebody running. Instead of calling the police, which is what you should do, he called his grandson. And his grandson showed up with an AR-15 and rode off in a golf cart, and he's going to track him down. So then he sees a group of people running, and he just starts blasting off rounds at him. Well, the people he was shooting at were the police. So luckily no one was hurt. They dove behind something and were like, stop, we're the cops. And he complied and was like, sorry. I was just trying to help here. Yeah, just let law enforcement handle these situations. You never know what kind of crazy you could be dealing with anyway. What if that guy was armed? What if you did chase somebody down and then they end up shooting you, Call the police, all right? Again, this all ended well, but these things don't always end well. So that's what trained law enforcement officers are for, okay? I know everybody wants to be the hero, but no. Instead, you make the news, national news, for being a puddinhead. And then you got radio shows like me talking about you. How important are the Golden Joystick Awards? I've never even heard of this, so I don't know if this is important at all. But I figured, hey, might as well talk about the Golden Joystick Awards. They're held by, let's see here, GamesRadar.com. And there's currently voting going on for a couple different categories, one of which is the ultimate game of the year. And when I saw this list, I'm like, wow, I guess I didn't do much gaming this year, because a lot of these games, I'm not even familiar with them. Like Metaphor Refantazio. What is that? I don't know. I have heard of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, though I didn't realize that was something new this year, I guess. I knew they had remade Final Fantasy VII at one point and been meaning to give it a play because it is a masterpiece of a game, but it must be really good if it is up for Ultimate Game of the Year. Here's another one I have no clue about. Dragon Age, The Veilguard. Then we got, as Peaches would call it, Heck Divers 2. Okay, Astrobot I had heard of, and I do want to get that eventually. I'm bummed they did not make this a VR game because Astrobot on the PlayStation VR is a fantastic game. It's so good. But I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Astrobot. You got the Silent Hill 2 remake, which is one I would like to play. And then another game called Satisfactory that I'm not familiar with. Balatro, no clue. Okay, Tekken 8. I mean, everybody knows Tekken. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Black Myth Wukong, and something called Animal Well that I don't know what Animal Well is, but they've got a weird picture from the game with some kind of creepy looking cats, and this is like old school 16-bit style graphics. I might have to look into Animal Well because I'm old and retro video games, I do enjoy them. It says explore a dense interconnected labyrinth and unravel its many secrets. All right. I mean, it's got extremely high ratings, so it's a Metroidvania style game. So if you're familiar with Metroidvania, that would be like Hollow Knight, games like that, which are really good. So I got to do some gaming, apparently. Stop playing Red Dead all the time. I just can't say no. So if you were bitten by a shark, would you go back to the same beach ever again? I know I wouldn't. I won't go into natural waters, period, and I've never been bitten by a shark. But let's say I was. The last place on earth I would ever go is back into that same water. But I'm not a surfer. Surfers, bunch of maniacs. Florida surfer, bitten by a shark 11 years ago, decided, you know what, I'm going to go back and surf there again. Bathtub Beach in Stuart, Florida. Guess what happened? Yes, bitten yet again. And now he's in recovery mode. 3 tendons completely torn and 1 partially torn. 2 surgeries, 93 stitches, a dozen staples. Jeez, dude, like, you'd think the first time would be a lesson learned, but I don't know. I guess you just really love surfing. Just a heads up, if you recently bought a Wawa branded tumbler and it has a metal straw, you might want to get that replaced. They've been recalled because I guess the metal straws are ripping people's mouths open. Ah! Hands and mouths. That's pretty brutal. You know, just trying to enjoy some nice water. What are they fighting back against, the hydro homies? What is this? Anyway, looks like it's a voluntary recall. You can send it in and get yourself a new one with a plastic straw. So they'll hook you up with a $15 Wawa gift card. What is Wawa? I mean, this article is from, where was this? New Jersey? Philadelphia. So I guess they're available in the U.S. I've just never heard of Wawa. So maybe it's an East Coast thing, but it's doubtful you have one. Just wanted to let you know in case you don't want to rip your tongue open with a metal straw. That would suck. What up, Peaches?
What a depressing way to end the show. She's buying her stairway to heaven.
What do you mean? Show's not quite over. I got some more upbeat stuff coming up before the 10 o'clock hour.
Hurt from Johnny Cash, is that one of them?
Yeah, we're going to play all sad songs. The Nothing More Dead Dad song.
Perfect.
Whatever other depressing songs I can pull up. To the Flowers from While She Sleeps. And I don't know. It's Sad Mondays. No, we got something really fun coming up next. Some Ice Nine Kills. Some new stuff with Chavo from System of a Down.
I like that song. The chorus gets stuck in my head every time.
Yeah, first time I heard it, I was like, it's okay. And then it really grew on me. I really like it. So Did you have something important for the program, Peaches?
Oh, no, I was just going to ask about your Halloween episode, because I know on the podcast version, you have this little, jingle in the very beginning.
Yes.
The Victor Wilt Show, full of nightmares.
I wanted to make it extra fun for that. So if anybody hasn't checked out my episode from Halloween, available everywhere podcasts can be found, it does have a special jingle, the Victor Wilt Show Halloween song.
Did you use AI for that one?
Oh, I just produced it myself, Peaches, let me tell you. No, I would never use AI to make music. No.
That's right, I know. That's totally Victor and Joey and Steve and everybody.
I got all the time in the world to sit in my office and just lay down tracks.
Oh, is that why you have the foam padding on the walls in there now?
Yeah,
And you have the instruments lying around?
Exactly. I'm in there producing music when I should be working on clocks. So, yeah.
You keep your door locked, too, so Jade can't come in and bother you?
Yeah, I don't want to be bothered.
You're like Rick Rubin. You're like, I want to lay down and just imagine the song and then play it.
Yes, I'm in my creative space, So, yeah. Everybody, if you are unaware, both Peaches and I, you can catch our shows without the music. So if you want to hear all the content, it's on our podcasts, and you can find those everywhere podcasts can be found. Now, Peaches will put on a funner song.
Funner. Great word.
A little bit more fun. A funner song. I think funner is a word. I say it is. I determine that it is a word. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you again for tuning in to The Victor Wilt Show. This program is a production of Riverbend Media Group. To contact the show or for more information, hit us up at riverbendmediagroup.com.